My name is Evelyn. I'm half demon, half elf. Last time we spoke, I told you about my family, how they sealed my powers, and how my clan sent me away from my own home. After being sent to the human world, wandering the earth endlessly, I found the underworld, thanks to my guardian Lumi. I lived there, made some friends, and got used to my life around outcasts like me. It was nice, feeling like I belonged somewhere, but something was missing. A part of me, no matter what I did, where I went, who I met. I always felt empty, like I was never truly myself. One day, on the break of dawn, Lumi returned to our cave with a letter in hand. He kept in touch with my mother. Mournfully, he passed the letter to me. In between the tear stains and blood, red ink told me, "Your father was killed by the clan. The war is about to start. Come home, dear. We need you." I didn't know how to feel. The grief of losing my father, combined with the anger of being asked to return home to help the same people who threw me away. But I didn't want people to get hurt. I knew pain and loneliness too well. Lumi and I looked at each other. We knew we had to go back. He opened the portal in front of me, and I could see my home. But is it even fair to call it my home after what they did to me? I stepped in, conflicted, hurt, confused. I saw my mother and grandma. "Evelyn," said my grandma, "go to the other side and negotiate. Your mother is nagging me to let them live, and I'm at my wits' end. Tell them to leave or we will wipe them all. Since you're a half, they might let you talk." You dare speak to me like I owe you anything? You threw me away like I was a stranger. I'm going, but I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because I don't want people to suffer. After returning some of my sealed powers, I spent days traveling back and forth between the elves and demons, trying to negotiate for peace. The war lasted for days. Neither side wanted to back off. It was a fight of pride and honor. Sadly, both sides refused to listen to me. Then the peak reached. The leaders and highest-ranked fighters were on the field fighting. I was alongside the demons, trying to protect what was left of my family. From the corner of my eye, I saw my mother fighting the leader of the elves, a strong, powerful fighter. I tackled him with all my might to try to push him away from my mother. "Mom, run!" I could tell she didn't want to leave me, but she listened. He was very impressed with how long I lasted against him, and honestly, so was I. His next attack was so powerful, the impact sent me flying, slamming me into a wall. I couldn't get up, so I accepted my defeat. As he was walking towards me, I closed my eyes. I tried my best. For both sides. But instead of darkness, I felt a cold splash on my face, tinted red, and right there, at that moment, I saw my grandmother, standing in front of me, with a spear going through her. "You never gave up, which surprised me. Through being exiled, you kept moving forward. You then came back to help us, when we had no right to ask for it. You built upon yourself, and combined traits missing from each side. And that makes you whole. I'm proud of you, Evelyn." Her eyes closed, and her body dropped to the ground. No. This can't be happening. My emotions took over me. I saw red. I slowly crawled to my grandma's body, and I clawed at her chest, snapping and breaking my nails as I took out her heart and devoured it. Something in me began to change. All I could see was red-tinted darkness. My head pounded. I grit my teeth with pure rage as the memories my grandma had of me floated in my mind. Pain, anger, loneliness. My eyes became clouded in fury, turning pitch black. I looked up at the elven leader, snarling, snapping my fangs that visibly grew. My horns flew rapidly. The ribbons once held onto the tip of my horns ripped apart as they became thicker, longer, and revealed a pink etching. The elf stepped backwards in horror as something moved and shifted in my back, then bursted, spreading my wings for the very first time. My broken, snapped nails transformed with my hands to create dark, black claws. I screamed as the memories of hatred flooded through me, as my body felt like it was being torn apart. Until I saw myself as a baby in my grandma's arms. It felt like just for a moment, she looked at me and I could feel it. Love in the back of her mind. Despite it all, it seemed to linger. The previous memories of me felt different. The lingering feeling of love in the back of her mind remained. But the hatred, it was for herself and for her people, for making me an outcast, for allowing the ignorance of her clan to sway her. My heart thumped, her heart and mine, in unison, beat together. She had made mistakes and had regrets, but now she was with me, and she will never abandon me again. Passionate fury turned to black tears that swept away my anger. My vision returned, my pitch-dark eyes now drained, showing my pink irises. I looked at the lifeless body of my grandma, my greatest enemy, who loved me, but could never show it. I set off a powerful wave, overpowering the war below. The elven commander was knocked backwards by the force of it. My tail snaked around me, growing thicker and longer. While my mind was shaking, my body wasn't. The world looked a little smaller as I stood at my full height. I looked at my hands, once dainty and pretty, with pink nails, now stained with blood. I saw my ribbons lying on the floor, and so I reached to my head to feel my small horns, instead finding them big enough to grab with my whole hand. Everything seemed to have gotten bigger. I kneeled down to pick up my ribbons and tied it to the tip of my tail. As I went to the edge of the platform, looking down, seeing both my families fight each other. Enough! Everyone froze, recognizing my power. All my rage and pain turned into sadness. I didn't want more lives to be taken. I stood tall and said, "This war ends now. This will never happen again." I never felt more powerful and more complete. My mother came behind me, holding my grandma's crown. As she put it on my head, it shifted and changed to fit me. "Dear new queen," my mother said, proud. The war finally ended. Everyone went back home. Peace was restored. For the first time ever, I went to sit on my throne, same as the crown. It shifted to fit me. As I sat down, I felt so free, happy, and most importantly, like me.